What's up everybody, this is Doughboy JP. Welcome back to the channel and to our Planet Coaster series. We'll be recording our true first episode today. Last episode sort of served as an introduction to the park, so I just wanted to get all of the catching up out of the way in a single video. But today hopefully we'll be doing some actual substantive building. And just before we get started, I'd like to wish anybody watching from America a very happy and safe Thanksgiving this year. I know it's super strange, but we'll get through it. And yeah, with that and without any further ado, let's get right into it, shall we? So we're kicking off our first ever true episode over here at the hotel complex, where I did some work off camera, and my plans are to only work on this section sort of off camera because it is the most vanilla, plain section of the park. Not really behind the scenes, but it's more function over form, if you know what I mean. So off camera, between episodes, all I really did is extend the sort of tree pattern around the edge here, just for the sake of uniformity. I went through and replaced all of the paths inside this sort of garden section with the more elegant stone path. Over here I plan on having a sort of valet parking area, but that's not done yet. And then out back here, I finally got around to doing the parking lines for the secondary parking lot. Just copied and pasted them from the original parking lot. Still have to add all the cars and whatnot, and there's some weird stuff going on with sort of symmetry, so definitely some work that still needs to be done back here, but I will do that between episodes and spare you guys the sort of boring stuff. And then lastly over here, I added this sort of on-street parking section just because I had the room and I thought it might look nice, so we'll have some taxis in here or something. Also between episodes, I plan on adding maybe a secondary entrance to the park on this side somewhere, and that'll serve more as a staff entrance than the guest entrance, but there will still be a guest toll booth just like at the main entrance over here. So they'll be very similar, just so we have more traffic capacity coming into the park. I think that would make more sense. But yeah, that is going to do it for this area for now. I'll update you in the next episode, see how far we've come. But yeah, this is where we are now. But the main focus of today's episode will be over here at the pirate area. So I know in the first, well, the 0th episode, I promised we'd work on the haunted house today, but I don't know, I think I need to do more prep work off camera, make some furniture before we can really get to work over there and have it be a productive episode. So instead today, I plan on finishing up our SCUTTLER'S Cove subsection of the pirate area, just because it's so close to being done and I want to see it finished. So again, between episodes, what I did here is I went through and did all the sort of boring stuff. I tidied up the terrain, got it how I wanted it, and laid out all the paths how I think they're going to be. But our area of focus is going to be over here, where we have our the Scuttler itself, this ride here, and the Scuttler's Crag coaster, which you see off in the background. So what needs to be done is we need to put vegetation all over this mountainside, make it look sort of jungly. Some down here maybe as well, and then tidy up this section, make some ride signs, maybe see about filling in this hole, doing some light terrain work, and then the largest bit of work we need to do is tidy up and finish this queue in here for the Scuttler's Crag coaster. I don't exactly have a plan going into this, but we'll see where it takes us. Maybe we'll do a time lapse and I'll do some doodling and you can see it fast without having to sit through it with me. But yeah, that's the plan for today's episode, just sort of finishing off this whole cove area. So the way I've been doing vegetation in this area is I start with these large bamboo stands, which came from the adventure pack, I believe, and just using them, sinking them into the ground so that they can serve as sort of ground vegetation. And it's just really easy to place this one large part instead of placing a bunch of little individual bushes. You sort of get a lot of ground cover really quickly this way. And we'll leave some patches open for rocks later on, and we'll of course come back in with the paint tool as well, but for now we'll just sort of scatter these around, sink them in at varying depths, and then we'll come in and break it up with rocks and trees later. Alright, so as you can see, we got bamboo sort of nicely spread around this little area. I'm gonna finish this area first and see if I like it before I go along and do the whole thing. But yeah, so we have our first layer of bamboo here. So now we're going to go in with these rocks and trees and sort of break it up a little bit. So we're using the tropical rocks since it is the pirate area after all. So let's find those. Just take some of these larger ones and sort of spread them around. Just want to make the area look overgrown, but also very treacherously rocky. And we'll go in and do some painting around those to make them stick out a little less. Yeah, I think that's good for now. And then we'll take our palms here. Not those ones, the big ones, yeah. And just sort of sprinkle them in here. To break up all of this uniform bamboo. And we'll also go in with some various shrubs later on. And just to keep it from looking too uniform. Maybe some flowers and definitely some lights. But as you can see, it looks much better already from down here, where the guests would theoretically be seeing it. So yeah, just while we're at it, let's get some, ooh, not the vase one. Let's get some other palms in here. Some other sort of shrubs and just some different shapes and colors. It's looking nice and thickly overgrown. And last but not least, we'll come in with our leaf texture here. Ooh, not 100, are we crazy? Just really finish off the look with our leaves, just like that. Just to, we don't want it to look too lush because this is sort of a ship's graveyard. It's supposed to be kind of grim. Accidentally painted over into the asphalt here. I'll fix it later. But yeah. So that's basically it in terms of our background vegetation. The only thing we might do is add some ship pieces and other like wood chunks. Just to sort of, because like I said, it is a ship's graveyard after all, not a happy rainforest area. So I'll just sort of sink some of these in here. Also just serves to help, you know, break up the background and hide that it's a sheer drop off here into our backstage road area, which we'll be finishing up in a future episode, but yeah, I think that helps a lot. just for the sake of my own sanity, let's see how it looks at night. Oh yeah, so if we get some lights up there behind those wood pieces we just placed, it'll look golden. So I'm just sort of getting these lights angled to where I want them and then just sinking them right into the terrain. I'm not too worried about the realism of making the lights visible. We just want the splash of color. Don't have to go that crazy in my opinion. So just a couple more here for a little, very subtle splash of red up on the hillside here. Yeah, I think that looks much better. So it just makes it look like a dense jungle rather than it just getting cut off like it actually does back here. And we'll come back once we do this backstage area and, you know, maybe put some fencing up here or some aircon units. I don't know. We'll see. But just for the sake of looking at it from the pirate side, I think it looks much better this way. So I'm going to go ahead and do this area up in a very similar fashion. I will spare you guys from watching that all again. So I'll just show you when it's done. Alright everybody, so here's what we have now. So as I said, I sort of went around the entire area and just sort of continued with that procedure I was showing you before. So I laid down that primary level of bamboo, which is these shrubs here. Sort of filled it all in wherever it wasn't too sheer, wherever it wasn't rocky. So I put those down, followed by the rocks just in all the gaps. Then our palm trees, and then another thing I didn't do it the first time, but I went around and did it this time, is around the edges of the bamboo I added these creosote bushes just for sort of dead sections right on the edge of where they stop growing. So I did that all the way around. They're kind of hard to see during the day. But yeah, that was something I had done through the rest of the ride. Like you can see them sort of scattered around down here. So I just wanted to continue that idea. And I also came around on this side and went down the cliff side here just to sort of really finish up the ride area. I didn't go anywhere beyond this because I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this terrain to sort of break up the tram road section and the pirate section just yet. So I left that as is. But yeah, and at night I went around and added the lights just like before. So behind all these ship sections I went with a bright orangish color, bright yellow. Might change that to be a little bit more subtle because it is very bright right now. And then even more subtly we have sort of hint of red light all the way around here, sort of scattered in the trees, just to sort of create a little bit of a red background for the ride itself. So primarily oranges and reds, and then down along the water here we have some blues to sort of accentuate the water. So yeah, now that that's all done, that's the exterior for this ride complete, I believe. So why don't we take a quick ride on it just to see how we did. Whoa, we got time speed up here. There we go. Sorry about that. So I like how that looks. Side friction coaster is a very simple coaster. It can't invert, can't really do any crazy crazy embankments or anything like that. So this is sort of a laid-back coaster, but I think the scenery really gives it that extra punch that it needs to make it worth riding. But even if it doesn't, it makes a great sort of centerpiece for this section of the pirate area. So that's the exterior finished. So the next thing I'm going to do, let me turn the lights back on here. The next thing I'm going to do, I am not going to do it on camera because it's going to take me ages, but going to do a time lapse, I think, of filling in this queue. I have some rough ideas, but we'll see what happens. So yeah, I'm going to get on that, and I'll see you guys after the time lapse. Alright everyone, so after that time lapse and even a little bit of building after that, we now have this gorgeous queue for our Scuttler's Crag coaster, all completed. Might tone down the lights a little bit off camera just because it's really bright in here, but I figured that would be a good thing for the sake of filming. Yeah, so this is looking good. Got sort of a continuation of the similar theme we have outside. And then I also went ahead after the time lapse and just sort of finished up this little path section that we said we were going to also do today, just because it's more of the bamboo and tree placement just like we did in the beginning of the video. And then aside from that, just place some benches and trash cans, got some fencing along the edges here, and then some more of these torches to sort of light up the way. And yeah, with that all done, I think we can safely say that Scuttler's Cove and the first half of our pirate area is now complete, right on cue. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to wrap this one up. A bit of a longer episode today, but we did get a lot done. What we did do looks fantastic, and hopefully we'll have another one very soon. So if you do like the series and would like to tune in next time, please do consider liking and subscribing. It really does help out a small channel like the one we have here. And yeah, I will be talking to you all again very soon.